Stop. Give you 2 minutes. I'll teach you something that the rich do to avoid paying capital gains taxes. See, when you're wealthy, you have a ton in assets because you know that's where you can grow your wealth. But what you don't have is a ton of cash on hand because that just gets eroded by inflation. So the rich do is they use a strategy called buy, borrow, die. And it's fascinating. Step one, buy. You buy appreciating assets. These are things like the stock market, bonds, not things like cars. You want these assets to appreciate. And you can tell that they appreciate because banks will let you borrow against them. That's step two. What you do is instead of selling the assets because they've appreciated in value, what you do is you borrow against them, and banks will let you do this. If you already have a stocked portfolio, this is very easy to do. It's called a pledged asset line or a line of credit. And brokerages love doing this. So if you end up needing money, instead of selling stock and paying long-term or short-term capital gains, what you do is you have the brokerage lend you money. And you'll pay an interest rate. It's typically a couple percent over the SOFR. SOFR stands for Secured Overnight Financing Rate. That's how much banks charge each other to borrow from one another, and it's typically very close to what the federal funds target rate is. So you borrow a bunch of money or you open up a line of credit and then you use the money that you've borrowed to pay off that interest. The third part is where it gets a little interesting, and when you're really rich, this part you don't really care about, but eventually you die, and instead of your assets getting sold and paying capital gains, they get a step up in basis when they get passed down to your heirs. Step up in basis means that your heirs, when they get those appreciated stock, they get it at the price of the day you died, which means you never pay taxes. They never pay taxes on it, as long as you're under the estate tax limit. If this sounds a little absurd, it's actually not. People do this all the time. You have an asset off in your home and you get a home equity line of credit. It all works the exact same, except now people do it with their stock asset. This is totally legal, totally legit. People do this all the time, especially when they're asset rich and cash poor. Banks love lending you money because they love earning interest. They'll pay their regular bank customers less than 1% in interest and then lend it to you for 7-8%. Make sure you send this to someone that you love because they will want to know this strategy. All right, for more clever ideas like this and money saving tips, make sure you follow me or we may never see each other again. Take care.